Hi, I'm Daniel Turner.
Hello, Meredith Howell Turner.
We bought this house a few years ago, loving like where it was located and the neighborhood and things like that, but knowing that it needed a lot of work. We bought a house, we loved it, really loved the neighborhood, really loved the yard, like everything about it, but the house had been in one family for 150 years, and so there were a lot of updates that needed to be made to make it work really well for our family, both design-wise, but like functionality, like there were some things that needed to be.
The scope of the project was nearly everything. We did not do our 2 girls' bedrooms, were not involved in the project, and a bathroom that we had already redone previously was not involved, but everything else was. So we love the historic nature of the house, but like Daniel mentioned a moment ago, there had been a lot of sort of generation to generation DIY aspects to the house, and it didn't feel cohesive. And so we wanted to ensure that there was just sort of like a general overall vision for the flow of the upstairs and downstairs. We wanted to maintain a lot of the historic elements of the home that we loved, but bring it into, 2022 and beyond for the next 30 to 50 years. We also really wanted to be the hosting place for family gatherings and holidays, and so we were looking for a big kitchen and family space that was connected with plenty of seating, and happy with the outcome that we were able to achieve that.
I think one other thing that we really wanted was like connect the backyard into the house.
Yeah.
And so like making sure that like you felt like you could see the backyard and that it was like really connected to the way we live. The fact that you had to do like everything in every room, right? If you wanted to change one thing about a room, you had to change the whole room. Luckily, I don't think there were tons of big surprises along the way. We knew going in, like a lot of stuff needed to be spruced up, which was good.
The only major obstacle was because the house is historically listed, there were some parameters and regulations that we had to adhere to with our town. And that led to an unexpected kind of redesign of the new primary bathroom that we added on the 2nd floor, which then led to our bedroom getting involved in the project unexpectedly. But ultimately, we're glad that we had to go through those, jump through some hoops that we didn't plan to, because we really liked the way that it turned out. But that was definitely an unexpected kind of twist in the experience.
If I could go back in time and tell us like one thing before we started, it would be definitely move out. Don't try and live through the renovation. We were like, we're gonna save all this money. We're just gonna like tough it out. It'll be okay. And we ended up under like great advice from both Sloan and our contractor, like moving out. We moved back in just before the project was done, right? Like a couple weeks. And that was like, there was no demo going on. There was like, everything was almost done, and that was still hard enough. So like, that was definitely good advice to give ourselves.
We lived through the last 5-6 weeks without any kitchen, and so that was enough of an experience to reassure that the idea of moving out was the right call. So we would tell ourselves to definitely go that route. My favorite aspect is, I'd say 2 things. One is just a general answer, which is kind of building off of what Daniel said earlier. It now feels really cohesive and connected throughout all of the 1st floor and even up onto the 2nd floor. And then these windows here that look out to our backyard are really wonderful. They're right above our sink, and so we have 2 younger kids, and we can crack the windows and see them and hear them out in the yard, and like see the seasons changing. So I love the double windows over the sink.
The final thing I would say to Sloan now that the project's done is thank you, great work, it looks awesome. And I think thank you too for your help along the way. Like one thing that I didn't realize, I think we knew at the beginning, like we didn't have the design chops or like the expertise to like do a project like this. We kind of knew what we wanted it to look like, but had no idea what would be involved in like details. But what we didn't know is like how valuable Sloan would be like through the process as both like somebody that we could go to for advice and like kind of talk us through, but like really help us navigate those surprises or those challenges along the way. And I think we found it really, really valuable to know like this is a real thing, like these are the best solutions possible. Like here's options 2, 3, and 4, and like how much they would cost and what was reasonable and what wasn't reasonable. And I think it helped in the end too, like our relationship with our contractor. When there was bad news to be shared, like it was helpful to have Sloan to kind of talk it out with and not feel like we had to just talk to the contractor. Like that was really, I think, a big.
Totally. I would just add that Sloan was great about kind of helping us as the project went on. We didn't make any major shifts or changes from our original design, but there were little things along the way. And Sloan was great about kind of like going back and redrawing and redesigning something and giving us some new options. So it never felt like difficult to kind of go back and start something a little bit differently than we originally had planned. And it was just a pleasure to work with him. Sloan was really easy to connect with and collaborate with. And so we're thrilled with our choice in Sloan and thrilled with the final product.
I think one other really cool, like in the opposite direction thing that we got to do was Sloan was really good about like sharing beautiful renderings and things like that, but he also let us do a virtual walkthrough of the house. It was virtual reality headset, and we got to walk through the house before we had even begun to do any demo or anything like that, just to make sure it felt right and that we had the right kind of layout. And that was amazing. I think that got me so excited.
Totally. So we could stand, this room used to be our living room. We could stand in our old living room, but be looking at our new kitchen, which was really cool. So it definitely got us excited to dive in. It was really neat. I would say that we weren't big believers in paranormal activity before the project, but this being a house from the 1870s, maybe it's not totally unexpected that we would have some extra guests from time to time. We came in almost every day throughout, even though we weren't living here, we came in every day throughout the course of the project because we were eager to see the progress. And I came in on a Friday night by myself, walked the house, and this was during the demo phase, so there was dust everywhere. And then we came back as a family on Saturday morning, the next morning. And when we got upstairs onto the landing at the top of the steps where there was dust everywhere, we discovered a set of bare footprints just tracking through the dust at the top of the stairs. And they didn't originate from anywhere and they didn't lead to anywhere. They were just sort of in a little section at the top of the steps.
Totally normal.
Totally normal, I guess. And then on another instance, a similar occasion, I came in by myself and was going up to the second floor. I was halfway up our stairs and out of nowhere, there had been no footprints on the steps at the bottom, and then maybe 2/3 of the way up, there were another set of bare footprints through the dust, and then they just dissipated into nowhere at the top of the steps. So we hope that he or she or they like the outcome of the project and feel good about how we're, stewarding the house into the future here.